Whoever needs to hear this message needs to know that there's some energies around you that are very shocked by your level up. And the fact that they're no longer able to control this new you, it's as if from one day to the next, the old you is gone, and you're standing on the ashes of the person you once were, completely rebirthed. You're making these other individuals look bad, or rather, people are just starting to see them for who they really are now, based on what you are proceeding to accomplish in regards to your spiritual growth at this time. It's as if you are kinds of secret agents that were sent here by the divine to weigh these individuals' hearts. Timelines are collapsing, and those that were last will now be first. What do we have at the foundation of the reading, Spirit? Emperor, Aries energy at the foundation of the reading. So the energy that is coming through for all of you at current is speaking about you renewing a certain kind of outlook that you have over specific sectors of your life. Now, simply put, I feel that you have decided you're going to take a different approach to renew a sense of hope in one area of your life or another. Now, most commonly, what I'm picking up here, this can speak about the way you approach relationships, friends, romantic, family members. There just seems to be an energy here where you're becoming stronger. You're becoming more confident and stabilized in the person you are and the belief systems that you hold. I feel a lot of you have been going through some karmic cycles recently that are wanting to close out that saw you being a bit of a pushover. But this is all coming to an end now. And astrologically speaking, this is supported. From the time of this reading, there will be a new moon in Libra. So there's going to be this very potent energy that supports some sort of permanent lifestyle changes that you're all implementing. It's also a time to really make peace with the way things are in the here and now. Let go of the past and create a new environment based on this new mindset, this new way of doing things, this new sense of confidence that you are now standing very confidently in. The Emperor is really speaking about this solid new foundation that you're building based on this new way of doing things. Moving forward, things are going to be built upon this sound new structure, the structure that is representing your life. It's as if from one day to the next, you just really step into a kind of power that I don't think anybody has ever really seen you standing in before. The old you and the old way of doing things is going to quickly become a thing of the past. I'm also picking up something here around you being tired of trying to prove to individuals that you know what you're doing or that you're right about something. So rather than trying to battle up against people any longer, you've leveled up to a point where people cannot debate you. They cannot come against you in regards to whatever this is here, because your spiritual growth has almost become intimidating to the point where individuals have no choice but to trust you. What do we have at the sacral, please? Wow, Seven of Swords, unbelievable. So this Seven of Swords is really highlighting what I just said here about you feeling like you have to prove to individuals that you know what you're talking about or that you're right about something, whatever it may be. It's like here they are, looking over their shoulders. They're kind of sneaking away with these seven swords, which for the sake of this reading are just representing your energy, your time. Aquarius energy with the Seven of Swords, Aries with the Emperor. But you're not fazed by this anymore. It's like from one day to the next, they look over their shoulder and you're now in this leadership energy here. You've risen out of the ashes of the past, the person you once were. You know, this is really how spiritual awakening is perceived by all of those around you that witness this dramatic level up. You know that you've been doing this work for quite some time. You've had to go through all the pain and the struggles of the awakening process by yourself. Nobody can support anybody when it comes to this level of awakening. But when the solidification actually takes place, it's a night and day contrast for those that bear witness to the level up. They don't see all the work you've put in. They just know that they woke up one day and the old you was gone and the new you was standing there on the ashes of the person that you once were. I'm also hearing something here about individuals being sad that you're no longer this pushover, that you're no longer this individual that for some of you, well, it's like these individuals felt like they could control you. Control your mind is what I'm hearing here. Very interesting energy that I'm getting. So the message for all of you thus far, only 2 cards into the reading, is you need to stay very focused on your path. Don't allow any of these distractions to derail you, because these individuals, I'm hearing, are going to have to respect you for the work you've put in. Some of these people may not like you, but they're going to respect you, and the divine is going to see to it that they do. There's an energy here of individuals not realizing that you held this emperor energy. Genders don't matter, male or female. You were cloaked. The divine hid you. I'm hearing it was all supposed to go down like this. It was a test. It was a test to see how people treated you. Of course, this is a black sheep or chosen one kind of energy. It's like you're a secret agent sent by the divine to test people's hearts by their treatment of you. What do we have at the solar plexus? Perfect. The world. And there's the completion of this cycle. See, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius energy at the solar plexus. And this is exactly what I felt right at the beginning of the reading. This is the completion of this cycle, right? See, right now, we're looking at you like we're approaching you, right? Which just really speaks about us being behind you. It's like we're getting a look at you, future you, right? You haven't quite crossed through into the new timeline yet. You haven't quite closed this cycle out yet. This is what's all underway right now. And it's at the solar plexus, which speaks on what I just said about you regaining a sense of confidence. This is what this is all about. You know, as we're developing through this reading here, I'm starting to pick up on a group of individuals, whatever it may be for you, place it as it fits. It could be family members, friends, even people you dated. But individuals tried to keep you in a box, tried to keep you small. It's like they didn't want you to awaken to certain truths about yourself. Now it could be argued that maybe they didn't know what they were doing, that they were just being controlled by some sort of principalities. It just really depends on your circumstances. But one thing I am certain about is that these individuals were being controlled by some sort of opposing force. An opposing force to you and your path and what you came here to do. And this is a perfect example of what a chosen one's path looks like. You're incarnated into this life cycle with no memory of anything that happened up until that point of inception. And you spend most of your life trying to remember who you are and what you came here to do. You have this deep knowing that you're here for something very specific. You can't put it into words. You can't even really describe the feeling. You just know that there's something missing from within. So there you go, down the path of life, doing the best you can to just fit in and be a part of the communities that you were birthed into. But then you start to realize that people engage with you a little different than they do with other people around you. As time goes on, you start to feel like you don't fit in. It's usually around this time as well that you start to think that maybe you're weird or there's something off about you because you're not like everybody else. See, most of you don't really default to everybody else being weird because, hey, you're the common denominator, right? So it must be you. And most likely, that's what you've always been told. But then something happens. You reach a point where you are starting to recognize truth in a way that had been veiled up until that point. It's like you've had some sort of notion come through. It's like you've had a download come through from the divine that starts implanting ideas subconsciously. Again, not things that you can even really put into words. Sometimes you have a thought about who you are and what you came here to do, and you may even for a split second realize that you know exactly how the universe works, but then it's gone. And this, my friends, is what it feels like when a chosen one is going through the awakening process. This is the precursor to the awakening. Now, as one of these chosen individuals that are hand-selected for a very specific path, you're going to go through many of these. This world card represents the next level in the game. But make no mistake, there's going to be many more. It's usually the first one, though. But it's the first one that is most significant because it sets the bar for the rest of them. You have a better idea of how it goes down, and you have a little bit of an idea of what you can expect. What do we have at the heart, please? 5 of Swords. Wow. At the heart, Aquarius energy. So we have 7 of 5 of Swords. So these are 2 of the harshest energies in the tarot, okay? The 5 of Swords, I feel, is the reactive energy of these other individuals once they realize that you've awakened to the truth. You start to see people's true colors. Now, anybody who goes through this process like you're going through, well, you would think that the people around them would be proud of them. But no, this is not how this works at all. This is a very hard lesson that I had to learn. I thought for sure, once I really stepped into my power and I started to go through that initial awakening process, that I would get some sort of recognition or praise from the people closest to me. But it was quite the opposite. And the reason for this is because those individuals have not gone through the same process as you. So they're highly threatened by what you've been able to accomplish because they were not able to do it themselves. This is very painful when this happens. This is probably the hardest part of this whole process because you begin to feel alone. You begin to feel really outcasted. And in some cases, these people might even come for you. They certainly did for me. And depending on what your family dynamics might be at the current time of this awakening, it might not be pretty the way they come for you. See, people feel very slighted by individuals who are able to pull off what you're pulling off here right now. So rather than these individuals having to face themselves, or rather look at themselves in the mirror and go through the hard work as a means to trigger their own awakening, something tells them that they need to make your life more difficult, that they need to just stop you because, well, you're making them look bad and you're not even trying to. In fact, I'm picking up a very humble energy from all of you here. And this is perfect. I always speak about this. When you step onto a path like this, you don't feel the need to seek validation from other individuals. You realize that the only validation you need is from spirit, is from the divine, is from source. You only care about spirit being proud of your work, right? That's it. That's why I quite often speak about, especially recently, avoiding individuals who try to seek this outward validation for the spiritual work that they said that they have been implementing in their life. I promise you, anybody who does this, right, they boast about being chosen or being this or that, haven't gone through the process. In fact, most people who do go through this process keep it to themselves. You know, unless it's a part of the path that has been selected for you. Getting back to this opposing energy here, you're really starting to see people's true colors. And this is, again, a part of the process of this particular awakening. You need to really see people for who they really are. A lot of you have made up excuses for some of these people and for their behavior towards you. Spirit is really trying to illuminate to you right now that you don't need to do that, okay? These people, if anything, should feel lucky to have you as a friend or a family member. They should be supporting you. But again, that's just not really the path that has been laid out before chosen individuals. Your path is not meant to be smooth and full of support. It's meant to be rough. It's meant to be difficult. And in some cases, it's meant to be a path that you walk alone. Unless, of course, you come across another chosen individual. And this really can speak about dating people, being in relationships with people. You can't date NPCs, right? Non-player characters. You can't date the Agent Smiths inside the Matrix. All it does is stagnate you on your path. And you've come too far to walk back all this work that you've put into yourself. And this is very difficult because it can become very tempting. It can become very lonely. But you have to keep your eyes focused on the path ahead and not settle. You don't need to settle. But make no mistake, the devil is going to test you. From now until the end of this life cycle, you will always be tested by the devil. Because if the devil can get you to step out of line with the path that the divine has assigned to you, oh, that's a big win. Getting a chosen to defect, there's no telling the catastrophic consequences of that. I heard something about a timeline collapsing. This could really speak about the significance of some of your paths, picking up this tremendous depth here now. So it's like you have an energy from the past, maybe that was a temptation for you at some point in your life, or you have another individual step onto your path that wants to join you, but they're not a chosen one. They're not meant to be with you on the path. They haven't gone through the awakening process. But because of our human need to feel love and companionship, you become weak. Some cases, you might even think that the divine sent you that person. Oh, I've been putting so much work in. I've been doing great on my path. They must be sent by God. So you engage with that energy. As time goes on, you start to realize that you've put less and less time into your mission and your path. In fact, there's been quite a lot of stagnation because there's something about the energy of that person that just doesn't mix with yours. It has a way of creating delays. And see, that's how the devil works. The devil just wants to get your time, whether it's milliseconds, seconds, minutes, whatever it takes. It's all a win for the devil because it's one less millisecond that you are working on your path and your mission. And the way the devil sees it, well, that's a win. So, in saying all that, it's very important that you nurture a very strong relationship with Source and the divine. You create a better understanding of what love really is. And love is that feeling that you have with Source, the point of creation. It's a new kind of love. And if you begin to nurture that and you work on that space, then you'll find that you have a less and less of a desire to fill it with a love that is external to you that would see you settling. And you also have to keep in mind that when you settle as a chosen one, you create stagnation on the path of new love making its way to you that is actually in alignment with you. See, when you carve out this new idea of what love is, the universe wants to reflect that back to you in the face of another. But this takes time. You have to be patient. What do we have at the throat, please? Ah, perfect. Temperance, Sag energy at the throat. So here you are in this very patient, balanced energy. Speaks about everything that I just said here. You're nurturing this new kind of love. It's a love of self. You're functioning inside of your mission, which has given you a whole new lease on life. You're very much on this new timeline now. And I'm hearing something again about what I was trying to say a moment ago in regards to a timeline collapsing. I lost that thought amongst what I was channeling, and then it just came to me again. But when that happens, it's because I feel the message was trying to be taken from me. Something did not want me to deliver that message to all of you. So I'm going to try and get it out of my mouth here as quickly as possible before the channeling is interrupted again. But what I mentioned about accepting an offer that wasn't in alignment with your highest good, causing a timeline somewhere to collapse, is speaking about the mission that you are here to do. It's like something doesn't come to pass. Something doesn't come to be. And for some reason right now, I guess this is the perfect example. I'm thinking about the movie Back to the Future. When Marty goes back to the future and he sees his mom and dad, and there's that moment there where his mom and dad almost didn't get together, and that picture of him starts to fade. This is really what I'm picking up here, and I'm getting chills right now as I'm speaking about this. So I'm going to leave that message there, and let's continue through the reading, and if we get more surrounding that, then I'll speak on it. But it's as if there's something here that is trying to disrupt something from coming to pass. Let's switch decks. What do we have at the third eye, please? Wow. Justice. Libra energy. At the third eye. I just heard cause and effect. Yeah, there's something very deep here that I'm getting. Okay, I'm getting a lot of ringing in my ears right now. So there's events taking place right now that are going to shift timelines. Now, what I mean by this is every decision we make in every moment aligns us with different outcomes, possibilities, timelines, so to speak. But there's these decisions that we're faced with at certain points in our life that have monumental effects on how some of these timelines shift and develop and align on our specific path. So simply put, this is one of these decisions that is going to alter the trajectory of not only your path, obviously, but this feels like it goes beyond you. It's like it has some sort of effect on other individuals on your path that are either part of your family lineage, or it could just be people you come in contact with, friends. There's going to be all different situations out there. But there's something here that is going to dictate the rest of a specific timeline that you are aligning with right now. And I just heard, what goes up must come down. So we're very much in a season, especially with this justice card at the third eye, where all those that were at the back of the line are now stepping to the front of the line. All those that were at the front of the line, well, I don't even think they're going to the back of the line now. It's like, okay, I just heard, I just got a ringing in my ear too. I hesitated saying this because of how, I don't know, it just sounds a bit funny, but I heard very clearly these people aren't going to the back of the line, they're going to jail. But then I got another download immediately after, spiritual jail. Okay, so it could be literal, it could be spiritual in nature. It just speaks about individuals that have been up to nefarious things, right? So with justice here, I mean, this is karma. You align with your destined timeline, which has been influenced by the way you have been navigating your path and all the work you've been putting into yourself. And the timeline they are now going to align with is a direct result of the way that they have been navigating their specific path. We're actually seeing this all over the world, as you all know. I mean, there's a lot of wild things that are being brought to the light and people being brought to justice all over the place. So it's very much happening. But there's a lot of you out there that are also dealing with this in some capacity, whether it's in your own individual lives or just in events that are taking place around you. It's just in the energy. What do we have at the crown, please? The Hermit, Virgo energy at the crown. Perfect. So this Hermit is really speaking about a lot of what we have been channeling through in the reading so far. I mean, this is really an energy of soul searching, and you went on this quest. A lot of you didn't even really know for what. You just know that you had to go on a quest. And it typically starts with a lot of soul searching, right? Going inward, trying to figure out why you have this space inside of you that, well, it feels empty. It's like there's a void there. Like there's something missing from your life and you can't quite put your finger on it. This is showing us very clearly that you have connected with Source, Hermit at the crown. So you've gotten a good idea of the path that you need to be walking. Very rarely are we going to know every last detail of our mission and our path. We're not meant to have it all in one big download. That's not how this works. The divine just gives you enough information to get going in the direction that they need you to go in. And then you get little pieces of information as time goes on. If they gave you everything in one download, you would probably go into shock. You wouldn't even be able to handle it. So it's important that you understand that you don't need to know all the details of everything right now. You know, a lot of people come to me for personal readings and it's like they want to know every detail of their path, and that's not how this works. And typically when people ask that, what will come through in the reading is me showing them the next step of the path that they need to walk to get to that point to where they have access to more information through a download they receive. There's just not enough cards in the tarot and not enough hours in the day to try and lay it all out. Life, our path, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You get closer and closer to some kind of truth or illumination, and we have to accept that. We have to be satisfied with that. But I'll tell you what, as time does go on, you start to care less and less about all these truths that you wanted to so desperately know when you were going through that awakening. Sometimes the divine will give me a download, like another piece of truth, and I have literally said out loud before, I didn't need to know that. I just don't care anymore. You know, and that's what happens. You become so happy with where you are and just engaging with your path and your purpose and being able to be in concert with your higher self. It just changes your perception. It has a way of really making you see what's important and what's not. When you start to have that higher perspective, you just start to understand that most, if not everything you'd gone through up until that point of awakening was a distraction. Those were weapons that were formed against you by the principalities, by the people that you came in contact with. In some cases, You start to feel sorry for those people, which is not something I personally thought I would ever say, but I do. I feel sorry for them because, right, the saying, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. There's a reason for that phrase, and it's for times like these. You know, it's really you realizing that there was a matrix constructed around your life and your reality. And all those people that were in it, they were the Agent Smiths, they were the NPCs, the non-player characters, right? The characters that are in the video games that no one can play. They're just a part of the programming of the game. That's what these people are. Sadly, it's going to be the people that you thought were your family. And the reason why I say thought is because I have a different understanding of our families, you know. We all have spirit families that are actually our real families. You know, where we are right now, it's like we've gone off to war, right? It's like we've gotten in a pod somewhere at divine headquarters and our consciousness has been transmitted down into these physical vessels. And here we are having to make our way around this invisible war, right? So we're assigned to these families that we don't have anything in common with. They're just, for a lot of you, I mean, they're karmic, right? You're actually sent into those families to create some sort of awakening, to bring some sort of balance. You were like a disruptive energy that needed to be sent through to create some sort of break in that karmic cycle. And visually speaking, I mean, we can see it with this hermit. It's like you're holding this snake and the snake is coiled right there. And I'm thinking about, yeah, right here, right? See, that's like Ouroboros, right? The snake devouring its own tail represents a cycle. And it's like you've broken this cycle now. You've beaten the first level in the game, so to speak. And your real family is up there, right? At divine headquarters, coming to visit you in the pods every few days, just to check on you, even though you don't even know that they're there. This is how I really see it. And I genuinely believe in my heart of hearts that this is how it is. What do we have at the foundation, please? Eight of Cups, Vepar. This card came out upside down, but I read this card upside down no matter what way it comes out. It's a negative polarity. It's a demon. Okay, so I read these cards as negatives and I read these cards as positive because they're angels. Okay, so negative polarities, positive polarities. I just felt the need to say that because I heard somebody out there saying that card came out upside down, which yes, it did. But again, I read it that way anyway. Okay, and this is really interesting because this Eight of Cups here is actually touching on what I just said. You know, the Eight of Cups read in its negative polarity, right? The negative side of the Eight of Cups can be an energy of you remembering where you came from. Unbelievable. You know, I feel that quite a lot of you are starting to have these weird sort of memories and synchronicities unearth themselves from the deep recesses of your mind. And again, they're like those thoughts that you have for a moment and then it's like they slip away. It's like the divine is trying to get you to remember who you are. And we can never get it perfect, right? There's such a strong energy here surrounding confronting the truth. I feel like this goes back to what I was saying in regards to you accepting things for the way they've been. It's a part of you being able to graduate on to the new timeline. You don't need to fully heal yourself to do that, but you just need to release, accept, forgive, and move on. And forgiveness is interesting. I never quite understood what that meant to forgive yourself years and years ago. I didn't really see the point in it. Wait, so I forgive myself for something that I did that hurt another person or hurt myself? But the way that I really think about forgiving yourself is having to sit down with your higher self, right? Divine headquarters, let's just say. Divine headquarters is like, hey, you know, you took a wrong turn back there, but, you know, we just want to make sure you're good down there. Are you going to do that again? And you're like, no, I got it. I'm sorry. And I know that this is a funny way of trying to understand forgiveness, but that's what makes the most sense to me. It's like you're having to sit down with your higher self and coming to the conclusion that you've learned your lesson and you're not going to make a wrong turn again because you have a mission to accomplish. And I also think it's kind of a humorous way to look at it as well. And when we can put humor behind, you know, very difficult subject matter, right? Spiritual awakening and realizing that people aren't who you thought they were and having to come to terms with some of these very hard truths. And this is as heavy gets. right? Awakening, it's ugly, it's painful, it's, by all accounts, a certain kind of spiritual torture. But when we can weave a little bit of humor between all of this, I'm telling you, it just really makes navigating this path so much easier. And that's why I like to put a little bit of humor in the readings, right? Try to laugh when you can, okay? Try to look at those people that you're recognizing truths around as just sitting on a lower vibrational timeline. They just don't get it, right? There's almost something very, well, it's like they're just spiritually unevolved. And when you start to really understand that that's really what it comes down to, right? Spiritual evolution, and these individuals are just spinning their wheels, then it makes it easier to move on and release those energies. What do we have at the sacral, please? Perfect. Page of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, Bootis. So now we're seeing this snake again, right? The breaking of that karmic cycle. The breaking of Ouroboros. And Page of Swords energy, so that's that gossip. That's that energy of feeling cast out, or like you've been spiritually exiled from communities. That's all a result of this awakening process that you've implemented in your life. People can't take it. But I'm also hearing something about people starting to see these people for who they really are as time goes on. Because all of a sudden, it's like you're not around anymore. People are asking after you and realizing that there's something up, right? This can really speak about family dynamics or friends groups that you're just distancing yourself from. And then people just start to realize that it was them, right? Those people. Because in some cases, people might look into how you're doing, or maybe even reach out and see that you're actually doing really good. You're doing better. Things are just on the up and up, which puts a spotlight on those other individuals. In time, the truth always comes to light. There's nothing you even need to do. See, when you step on your path like you are here, the only thing you need to do is focus on that path and staying on it. Everything else just reorganizes itself around how you are now moving in your everyday waking life. Again, something that I had to learn, but oh my God, it's so true. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just allow the divine, well, number one, fight any wars for you that you may be dealing with, spiritually speaking. And two, what you'll start to notice is the divine will start to prepare a table for you in front of your enemies. See, there's a structure to all of this. So really it just comes down to you getting out of your own way. And what I mean by that is we're all coming from these karmic cycles where ego is at the forefront, right? So really what it comes down to is releasing any sort of egoic attachments that we have to any specific behavioral patterns that were a component to how we used to live our lives, which is us getting out of our own way, right? It could be going back to what I said about people trying to seek outward validation, right? It's all ego. See, the ego has to go, can't go with you, because it means that you're still trapped in that low vibrational way of thinking, that you need constant validation for the path you're walking. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Knight of Pentacles, Deca Rabia, at the solar plexus. So this is them, okay? This is a very stubborn, self-serving, lazy energy, okay? And I'm hearing again, these are the people that didn't want to put the work in to quite possibly meet you on the level that you're at. So they tried to do whatever they can to drag you back down, right, to where they are. And it's interesting because the illustration here, it looks like this weight, right, anchoring something down. And that's a sun in the middle of that, right? So it's like anchoring down your happiness. Oh, I just heard anchoring the light. And it's right underneath that world. So it's like there you are, stepping through the portal, and there they are, right? Oh no, he's getting away. She's getting away. What do we have at the heart, please? Four of Pentacles, Val 4, Capricorn energy, ambition. Now, this is further emphasizing the energy of restriction that you've overcome here now. You know, this is very much one of these energies of being too consumed by the everyday grind of life, by the matrix, by the distraction. And I get it. This is, you know, something we all have to deal with. Sometimes we have to do what we have to do, right? Because we still have to survive inside this matrix. We still have to navigate this three-dimensional density. But what this is really speaking about is piling things on top of you more and more. So an example of this could be these individuals noticing that there's something different about you, right? So then they pile responsibility on you. You know, for the sake of example, it's like it could be doing things to make you have monetary difficulties. There could be finances attached to it, which is probably going to be the most common one that people can use to hold other individuals back. You know, it's going to be different for all of you. Some of you are going to be dealing with that more than others. And I'm certainly not suggesting that anybody try and weasel their way out of any sort of responsibilities. That's not what I'm speaking about here at all, okay? In most cases, you just need to put a plan together. Take care of these things and detach as soon as you possibly can. You know, debt is a huge way that the principalities can stop you from fully stepping into your path. And that's not to say that you're not on your path with debt, but you need to be focused on trying to release any chains that bind you. And there's a lot of spiritual bondage connecting to debt, depending on what kind of debt it is. Okay, I'm getting something here about high interest loans, things like this. Okay, all of this sort of stuff, when you're going through the awakening process, you just need to start figuring out how you're going to remove yourself from those situations. And definitely do not wait for miracles to unfold in your life yet. Okay? I hear that a lot from people. I've been going through an awakening. I've got this and that on my plate, and I'm just really hoping that, you know, God comes through with a miracle. Don't ever sit around and wait for a miracle ever, because it will never come. Okay, miracles come when you don't know they're coming. What you need to do is be fully engaged and focused on your path and doing whatever you can to sort through any mess that you may have found yourself in up until this point. And most of us, when we're going through the awakening process, are also having to deal with a mess that we're trying to remove ourselves from. So you're not alone, all right? And then I have Leahil, Light of Understanding, which is the Knight of Pentacles again, but this is read in its positive polarity. And this speaks perfectly about what I just said, because this Knight of Pentacles is talking about you moving in a very methodical, very thorough fashion, right? Even though you dislike moving like this because you essentially have to take responsibility for the messes you've created in your own life, right? This is a huge part of awakening, right? Taking responsibility, which can connect with the need for us forgiving ourselves, all of these things. But the sooner you start working inside of the space and just really go at it, you know, really work hard to do this, the sooner you'll be over it. This particular cycle and this awakening process that a lot of you are going through, it's hard work. But I promise you that when you get to the other side of it, you will look back and you'll realize that not only was it worth it, but it actually went pretty quick. Those moments when you're engaged in it and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait till I can actually feel when I'm not in this anymore, where you're going to find yourself in that space a lot sooner than you think. Now, that right there will be something that you see as a miracle. You'll look back and you'll be like, wow, I didn't even realize, but Spirit was helping me that entire time, helped me get through that. I don't know how I got through it, but I did. It's because Spirit and the Divine was there. That's why you made it through. So remember, efficiency and moving in a very methodical fashion, a very organized fashion. Organize your life. What do we have at the throat, please? Four of Cups, L.L.C, God deflecting evil, healing capacity, protection from weapons, safety in travel. So this Four of Cups, Cancer energy, this is really speaking about this new outlook that you have now on your path and life, right? It's like your entire perception has completely shifted. And this also speaks about you being on path and the divine fighting your wars, your battles for you, right? Protection from weapons, safety in travel. And this is truly when no weapons that form against you will be able to prosper. When you step onto your path and accept the mission, you've got to be on your path. Otherwise, the weapons will keep forming against you to get on your path. What do we have at the third eye, please? Perfect. Unbelievable. Hierophant, Haziel, the merciful God, divine forgiveness, obtains friendship and favors of the great, secures promises. So God and your spirit guides are showing up here in this Hierophant energy, the merciful God, right? So secures promises. This is a promise from God. Get on your path, get functioning inside of this space, and we will take care of everything else for you. And it's right underneath this Justice card. So the rebalancing, cause and effect. What do we have at the crown to close out the reading? Oh, perfect. Strength, Leo energy. Hakamiya, the exalting God. Loyalty, delivery from those who seek to oppress brings victory. Says it all. Literally confirms everything I just said. And there you are being lifted up by all your little spirit guides there, right? Yes, I finally made it. And they're like, we're so proud of you. Strength is an energy of patience. It's all about self-love and confidence and courage, which has all been highlighted in this reading. So really the perfect card to end this message here. This is the message I have available to all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below. And thank you for your donations. Take care.